Today's discussion is about what the press likes to call special interest groups. They're everything from Black Lives Matter to defense contractors groups, things like the Carlyle Group, which is a group of very wealthy investors in war industries. There's special interest groups for gays, transgenders, females, blacks, Hispanics, you name it, and there's a special interest group. And one of the things that, one of the stones, I should say, that a lot of people throw at the Democratic Party is their whole concept seems to be revolves around special interest groups. They are the most pro-black, the most pro-Hispanic, the most pro-immigration, the most pro-gay, the most pro-transgender. They're pro every conceivable special interest group you can think of. And what really ends up happening is something like this, and try and visualize this. You're a white Christian male, mid-40s possibly, maybe 50s. You live in Podunk, Iowa. And you turn the TV on and you happen to watch MSNBC or, God forbid, Fox. And what do you hear? You hear that there are fights going on for extra bathrooms in North Carolina for transgenders. I'm not sure how many transgender people there are in North Carolina, maybe 7 or 8, I joke. And I'm certainly not suggesting that we don't care about transgender people because we care about all humanity. But when that gentleman in Podunk, Iowa, or Michigan, or Indiana, or Ohio, or any of the other Rust Belt states, when he hears that, he sees a party of people that are more concerned with that extra bathroom than his job. His friend, who might live in Georgia or any of the Confederacy, they take a look and they see a group of Black Lives Matter jump up on a podium, literally take the microphone out of Bernie Sanders' hand at a rally, and proceed to blab about how great their cause is and make a complete idiot out of Bernie Sanders. Now, I just have to say at this point, at this juncture, that certainly black votes matter. Black lives matter, white lives votes matter. But I do have to say that in 2016, the African American community in the United States had 11% fewer votes cast than they did for Barack Obama. So you have to ask yourself a question. Did Russia cause Hillary to lose? Was it James Comey that caused Hillary to lose? Was it the weak spinelessness of Barack Obama, who could have stopped the damned election if he would have announced the interference of Russia? Did he cause Hillary to lose? Or did the 11% that voted for Barack in 2008 that didn't vote for Hillary in 2016 cause the election to be lost? Well, the simple answer to that is all of them caused Hillary to lose. And we need to also remember the fact that we could have had a better candidate. So the bottom line is really this. Yes, it's important, and yes, we care about all humanity. We care if they're men, women, children, gay, straight, transgender, black, white, green, purple, or polka dots. We don't give a damn if they're human. They count. And so we're not talking about ignoring them. What we're talking about here is very simple. You can't do a damn thing to help black lives, brown lives, yellow lives, or purple lives if you're not in power. Now, I'm sure you all have heard that the Democratic Party in the last decade has lost close to 1,000 elected seats throughout the United States of America. 1,000. And you have to ask yourself, why? What is it that has caused this loss of elected officials in the United States? Well, there's probably a whole hell of a lot of reasons. But one of them certainly is that when Democrats stand up before any group of people, the first thing they talk about is how they're going to protect the lives of these special interest people. They totally, completely forget that these special interest people mostly don't vote. If you take a look at the voting rolls, you will find that people earning or making, shall we say, minimum wage or even not working, they don't vote. So what happens is those of us that do vote and those of us that do pay large amounts of taxes, we have to vote not only for our own best interests, but we need to vote for the best interests of the people that don't vote. I mean, 63 million people voted for Donald John Trump. I don't know how to fuck that guy. It just blows my mind. The thought that our 63, I mean, Bill Maher, my hero, always says Americans are dumb. Well, I got to tell you, I don't care whether or not you want to call them deplorables, but what I will call them is 63 million short-sighted, unintelligent voting people voted for Donald John Trump. Not because he was a Republican. I mean, to be perfectly blunt with you, someone like Mitt Romney, who I didn't vote for, who is from my home state of Michigan, at least you would never call Mitt Romney stupid. You wouldn't call him uninformed, though he is into religion, but he wears magic. But that's neither here nor there. You wouldn't call him dumb. You wouldn't call John McCain dumb, although he has become senile, as I think most people realize now. But Donald Trump is simply not smart. I mean, it's illogical for that Georgia district that just voted in that lady, I think her name was Handel, that's supposedly the sixth most intelligent or educated district in the country, and they voted for her to support Trump. Forgive me, that blows my fucking mind. How in the world they could do that, but they did. So the bottom line here is we need to figure out a way to get the people that are affected by these elections to vote. I said this before when we were talking about the election in Texas, where a young lady was running against a racist, bigoted asshole. And you would have thought that the majority of women in Texas would have voted for her. Wrong, go, Buffalo. She got her butt wiped. Why? I have no clue. I cannot conceive of anyone voting in today's elections for people like that support Donald Trump, but they do. We've had 4 special elections. Guess what? Republicans won all 4 of them. And what are we doing? Well, we're watching Bernie and Hillary people beat up each other on social networks. So what do we need to do? Well, there's a few things that we can push for sideways. For instance, right now, a male, only male, turns 18, he needs to register for the vote. For the draft. Guess what? What needs to be done is everyone, male, female, transgender, gay, straight, whatever, needs to register with the federal government at age 18. And that registration becomes their permanent voter registration. That's something that we can do on a statewide basis. Every person that turns 18 needs to register just once, and that registration takes care of them for the rest of their natural lives. That would be something we can do on a statewide basis. Now, once we get that done on a statewide basis, then we need to work on, I think that the United States is one of the only modern nations on the planet that has elections in the middle of the week and on days that are not considered holidays. That blows my mind. That absolutely blows my mind. The election of the President of the United States is electing the most powerful human being on the planet. And we don't call that a holiday? We don't think that it makes sense to have that time of voting more than just 8 hours or 10 hours? That's bullshit. We need to, again, on a statewide basis, go in and say, you know what, folks? We want to be able to vote for 30 days, 24/7. We want these voting places open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 30 fucking days. Let everyone vote. And you know what? I don't think it would bother me a whole hell of a lot if anyone who didn't vote were penalized maybe $25 or so or $50 to go to charity. Something. Make people vote. Then, when I go to the voting booth, well, I vote by mail. I've been voting for mail for 40 years, 50 years. Actually, I think 50 years. But when I vote, and I vote to allow females, women on this planet, to be equal to males, to equal to men, then at least I know that the 51 or 52% of the population of the United States that happens to be female is also voting for their own best interest. It should not be my job as a voter to worry about what happens to female reproduction. It should be up to the woman herself who votes. I have very little sympathy for most of the people in what I call the Confederacy. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's still the Confederacy. There is no possible way on earth that I could live in a state like South Carolina, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Alabama, or any of those states. My wonderful wife was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And every time we went there to visit, I felt like I was in a foreign. I felt more comfortable than when we were in Europe than I did when I was in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or New Orleans, other than having fun. The bottom line is simply this. Voting is a critical issue. And voting can be fixed, at least partially fixed, on a statewide basis. And that's something we all need to work on, and that's something we all need to push for. Automatic registration for life. Hello, life. Never mind this registering every other day. And yes, you can vote. No, you can't vote. And you're too old. You're too black. You're too white. You're too purple. Bullshit. Everyone needs to be able to vote. And that's something we need to deal with. And that's it for now. Looking forward to hearing from all of you later on. Bye-bye.